right, welcome back to the Friday show. I'm Scott Jagow in studio, along with Ray Paulick, who's at Del Mar once again. Coming up, an investment opportunity that people might be talking about. But first, we got a lot of big racing this weekend. Beholder's back in action, big slates at Saratoga and Monmouth. The Haskell and the Jim Dandy, two big 3-year-old races. Ray, it's pretty unusual. In the Haskell, we have the top 3 finishers of the Kentucky Derby. That doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, the Haskell came up strong. The Jim Dandy came up strong. They're both short fields, but they're good fields. But I look at each race with a certain skepticism about every horse that start in the lineup, wondering, do they really need to win? Are they really going to try to win this race, or is it Travers down the road a month later in Saratoga? That's the race they're really going after. Are these just preps? Are these just prep races?
Yeah, well, I don't know. $1 million purse for the Haskell and $600,000 for the Jim Dandy. I mean, there's some incentive to win. And if you look at it from a stallion-making perspective, certainly the Travers is more important than either the Haskell or the Jim Dandy. One thing I'm a little wistful about is the fact that we have 2 6-horse fields, 2 very good 6-horse fields, but instead of having one big 12-horse field, which is much better for the bettors.
That makes too much sense, Scott. That's not going to happen. You're dealing with 2 different racing associations. The Haskell is such a big part of the summer meeting at Monmouth Park. They're not going to change. The Jim Dandy is an important prep for the Travers. I doubt very seriously, unless they run out of horses some year, they're not going to change. So no. I think we're going to have to live with 2 short fields at 2 different tracks.
Yeah, but those short fields are very good. In the Jim Dandy, you have Mohaman, Destin, and Creator. And then in the Haskell, you have Nyquist, Exaggerator, Gunrunner, American Freedom, trained by Bob Baffert, who owns the Haskell. He's won 5 of the last 6. So who do you like?
Well, in the Haskell, I think that the prospect of rain, and there's a good chance of rain Saturday and Sunday, it's going to move Exaggerator way up, right? He loves the rain. But this is I think it's Amory L. Haskell. Nobody's ever heard of the guy, right? They're going to rename this the Bob Baffert Stakes eventually. They have to. And he's going to win it again this year because he knows how to win this race. American Freedom is the now horse coming off a big win in the Iowa Derby. I go for him in this race. And as far as the Jim Dandy is concerned, Mohaman has the most to prove. He's run 2 kind of flat races in a row. And Karen McLaughlin's red hot. So I think Mohaman is the horse to beat.
I think Destin is going to get the perfect trip in that race. And I think he's been a little underrated. I mean, he narrowly lost the Belmont to Creator. I mean, he's a pretty impressive horse. I like Gunrunner to get a good trip and upset the Haskell. Last year's Haskell winner was American Pharaoh, of course, owned by Ahmed Zayat, who now, through an investment firm, is presenting an investment opportunity to get into racing and veterinary services. What did you make of this brochure?
Well, I checked the calendar at first to make sure it wasn't April 1st. And then I thought to what every person that runs the racing partnership has said to the people who invest in their partnerships, going back to Cott Campbell, all the partnerships today. And that is, don't give us money if you think you're going to make money in this venture. This is for the experience, for the fun, for the enjoyment of owning thoroughbreds. This is a totally different pitch. He's saying we can make money. We can make a lot of money if you just invest in me and my horses. Conversely, the veterinary side of this thing makes some sense. The horse side of it, no sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the market for veterinary services, and perhaps if you had a chain where veterinarians were on the same team, so to speak, so that they could save money through purchasing, I could see possibly that being okay. But as you said, the racing and breeding thing, it's so condescending, the language in this brochure. It's really asinine, I have to say, to hear him say how much better he is than everyone else in the thoroughbred industry. American Pharaoh, I believe any owner would have won the Triple Crown with that horse. And then you just listen to what he says. He talks about a Z process, that everyone else seems to be backwards in the industry. And I just don't think that's true. I don't think he can point to evidence that shows that. So I thought it was just a bunch of smoke. It really sounded snake oil to me.
Well, I know this much. If I had money to invest in something, to get a return on investment, I would look elsewhere.
Well, what would you do? Take our poll on the website, paulickreport.com, and let us know what you think. That's going to do it for this edition of the Friday Show. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.